Hi, this is Ed with SAPPHIRE, and welcome to another gameplay video. This time around, we're taking a look at Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth. Now, a little background, the Civilization series traces its roots all the way back to 1991, when the original Civilization was released. Now, it was a great game. We all loved it. We all got excited about it. It became iconic. That was until 1999, when on February the 12th, Sid Meier launched Alpha Centauri. Now, Alpha Centauri was what Beyond Earth is today. It was the next step in civilization. It was leaving the planet and going to a new place. And it was amazing. In my opinion, it was probably one of the best civilizations ever produced. Now, the hope is that Beyond Earth is a spiritual successor. Instead of a lot of different options that existed in that, they've simplified this. For example, we have affinities. You have essentially three ways you can attempt to play the game, or a balance of the three. Purity is where you keep your humanity pure. Supremacy is where you take your humanity and partially blend it with the alien stuff to create a new level. It goes kind of MechWarrior style. And then harmony is, I am at peace with the planet and I am one. The aliens are my brothers and we are theirs. And those are basically the three basic directions you can take the game, or a balance thereof, which is kind of cool. The game steals a lot of the basic elements from Civilization 5 and then takes them and begins to tweak them. So it's got enough Civilization 5 that people feel comfortable, but enough new stuff that they also experience something new. Now, when you begin the game, there are a lot of different ways to play this. Personally, I believe in random setting everything. I like to never know what's going to be. But once you begin the gameplay, you're going to select your landing site. You're going to be given an area and get to land your craft. And there we come in. Our landing unit is down. And we will begin by putting up our first city, which is Central. Now, we have a worker unit already available to us, and we have an exploration unit. The worker unit is exactly what you would expect. It's from regular Civilization. It works all the hexes around the city in an effort to up its ability to gather resources. And the explorer unit is exactly what you'd think as well. It explores the planet. It goes around and it looks around the planet. Now, you notice the little shovel and pickaxe up there. That's going to become important for that explorer unit, and we'll get to it hopefully in a minute here. So what you've got is, now that you've got your landing site, you begin to tell your worker what you want him to do. This seems like regular Civ for the most part, and it's fairly similar. The real changes begin once we get into the technology tree. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to build some stuff here. There's also another change here called health, which I'd like to get into in a minute as well, because health changes the dynamic of the game and makes it drastically different from regular Civilization. This is the tech web. Gone is the tech tree. Now, you see, the thing with a tech tree was, a tech tree is essentially linear. A tech web is wide open. So you've got all these different directions you can take technology. And each choice has a choice that comes back to help you. And as you can see, advisors, for example, genetics, the science department wants you to do, ecology for economics, and engineering for the military. Personally, I think you should max out that habitation group there, the two subgroups, pioneering and planetary survey. Both of those become very useful immediately, and it's important to get those. But the tech web then allows you to expand out and control how you're going to do your technology. You manage to get a feel for it. You manage to get a feel for the direction it's going to go. Now, we've got an AI city that's just landed near us, and they're going to acknowledge us. Now, the AI, it's not truly faction. They use the term sponsors. That works as faction as well, though, because each sponsor has a different agenda and a different way it sees to achieve that agenda. So you've got different sponsors, and depending on the sponsors you're dealing with is how you're going to have to deal with them. The good news is they all respond to everything. So you can try a diplomatic solution with a military sponsor. Now our explorers just found a resource pod. So we're going to go back, and we've also been contacted by another colony. We're going to go pick up that resource pod with our explorer. And that could give us anything. It could give us energy, it could give us science, it could give us culture. Another city has landed nearby. Freeland is now here. This is the Polyestra, the Australian group. All right, we're going to look here, and let's see what we're going to do. Let's make a decision here. Here's our diplomacy tree where we can look at the people we've already talked to, so we know who they are. And now here's the virtues. The virtues allow us, and this goes back to the similar system that's in Civilization 5. By selecting a piece of a virtue, it gives you advantages that can be used. Covert ops is another option. There's an active spy system in this. And it's not just about spying on others, it's about keeping spies in your city in an effort to protect you from other spies. Spying can be, by the way, a wonderful source of income for energy, which is the primary goal. Now, unit upgrade, what this means is this. Military units in this game, you don't have the plethora of military units that you had in Civilization because you don't have the same level of advancement. You've got some base military units, and they all advance based on which of the three virtues you've decided you want to go down the tree of. And that's going to determine this. Orbital view is for once you launch satellites, so that you can place satellites in orbit, and they can have various effects on what's going to happen around them. So we're looking at the orbital view here, and you can see that dark blue line is where we can place our orbital unit. All right, and anything can be, as long as it's the center of it is within that dark blue area, it can be there. So we've got this going, and we've got our pod, which is research points. So we're going to take the pod. And there's actually little quests that are given within the game. One of your quests now is going to be to find 3 research pods. And when you complete this quest, you get something. Oh, look, we've got an orbital unit we can launch. And in this case, it is a solar collector. Now, the advantage of the solar collector is that it actually helps plantations. And since we don't have a plantation up yet, it's not going to be super effective. But you can see we've got locations where we can get plantations up. And these orbital devices are not permanent. They have a set time frame. So we're going to launch the orbital solar collector. And you can see we're looking. As long as we stayed within that blue, you notice we get it. And we're going to put it over there to that area. And then if we had had a plantation in that area, it would be getting a bonus from the orbital collector. The truth was we just wasted an orbital collector. But that's okay, because this is about showing you what goes on in the game. The game, by the way, we're running on a 290, max out 1080 detail. You can see the game playback is butter smooth. The game actually plays very well on lower cards as well. The 285 to me is like the sweet spot for this. This card actually makes a lot of use of Mantle capabilities, and it's one of the few games that's using a feature in Mantle that allows crossfire where the 2 cards aren't necessarily doing the same thing. So it's got some advanced Mantle features that are beginning to appear in this. You're seeing some combat in action. Now, while the combat's going on, the combat's fairly straightforward. You're seeing the aliens, by the way, and you're also seeing the little mist. It's called miasma. And miasma is bad for you. It damages your units, but you will get units and devices that can remove it. Or you can actually get to the point that your units can survive and even thrive in it. Now remember we saw earlier, we saw the little work symbol of the shovel and the pick. That's important to find. Those are archaeological dig sites. Your explorer can go to those sites, and it takes multiple turns. They set up a dig, and that dig can yield even more advanced results. And it could be an alien civilization there. It could have been a crashed satellite. There's all sorts of different things that can be here. Now the last thing I want to talk about is health. Health is important to this game because in Civilization, you wanted to expand fast. You wanted to grow quick. And that was a big deal. But in this game, in Beyond Earth, you can't just expand willy-nilly. You have to keep your health up, because the lower your health goes, the less resources your cities produce. Now, you can go to negative health and you can continue to produce, but your effectiveness drastically falls off. A higher health means a more effective approach. So this changes the dynamic. You can't just expand as you want. You've got to get things in place before you expand, so that you can take advantage of everything before you go. And this is the key change. It's not the rapid outgrowth. It's timely. It's decisive in movement. Does Civilization Beyond Earth become the new Alpha Centauri? Sadly, no. It doesn't have enough change. It doesn't have enough depth. What they've done is simplified the gameplay of the idea of Alpha Centauri and give you this result. It is a great game in its own right, though. As I said, we're showing this on a 290 at 1080, maximum detail. We're getting to enjoy it with our Sapphire card. You can get a 285, a 280, even a 270X is a great card for this. So go out and play some Beyond Earth. This has been Ed with Sapphire. Game on.